Hello everyone. Today we have a new session, and in this session I explain the difference between Power BI and the Excel. So Excel is basically used for a small data set, and the purpose of Excel is to cleaning and analyze the data. But if you have a complex scenario or have a large data set, then Excel should not perform well. So on that time you have to move on Power BI. So Power BI is basically business intelligence tool that is handling the large data set, and after handling the data you can analyze your scenarios. So Power BI provides you the advanced analytics on the basis of multiple or complex scenarios. Excel usage. So Excel is basically usage for data preparation. So such as if you want to cleaning the data and transforming the data in a quick way, so that time you have to use the Excel. Similarly, if you want to filter out the data, that is also a part of the transforming or cleaning the data. So we can say that if you want to manipulate with the data in a quick way, so you can use the Excel. The main thing of Excel is functions and reports. So if you have an understand of the Excel functions, so it is very helpful if while migrating or using other analytical tool, because the functions of Excel is mostly common functions for all the other analytical tools. So the difference between Excel functions and Power BI Dax. So mostly the common functions are like aggregate, date time, text, logical and information. So if you are using the aggregate function like sum, max, min, average and count, so these functions are similar available in a Power BI. But in Power BI have some advanced text expression also like sum x, count x, max x and min x. That function basically prepared for the analysis purpose. Similarly, we have a date time functions. If you are using a date time functions like edate, end of month, date, year, month, dated if, today. So these functions also available in a Power BI. But in Power BI have other functions also like previous year, next year, previous month, and quarter, etc. Similarly, we have text functions also. So the text functions which is available inside the Excel, that is also available, the same functions also available in a Power BI. Similarly, the logical functions and the information functions. So Excel is basically work for the static data, but Power BI works with the dynamic data. So that's why Power BI functions called the data analysis expressions. Limitations. So Excel have too many limitations. So the first limitation is the performance issue. So if you have a bulk of data like more than 1 lakh, so on that time you have to face some not responding or some hanging issue of that particular Excel application. So I already told you Excel is perfectly working while you have a data below than 1 lakh or small data sets. Similarly, Excel has a limited visuals, means if you want a if you have a complex scenario and you want to customize visuals, but Excel has limitations and you are not found any custom visuals in the Excel. Sharing and collaboration of Excel file is very challenging thing. Means if your Excel file has a large data set and you want to share that Excel file with the team members at the same time. So if you have to do this thing, so the Excel file will not work properly or it will be not responding. You have to share your Excel file with the help of OneDrive or SharePoint. While Power BI has own services that is called Power BI service, it's a totally cloud based and you can easily share your data with the team members at the same time. Power BI usage. So Power BI is a business intelligence tool and that can handle or analyze the scenario which is helpful to improve your business. So the main thing is Power BI handle large of data sets. So it's not a restriction with the data. And the second thing, it's an analysis tool. So it contains lots of visuals and you can easily analyze your scenario with the help of particular visuals. So it contains around 250 plus visuals. Also, Power BI has wide variety of data sources. Means it has around 100 plus data sources. Excel has limited data sources, such as if I am asking about the database, so Excel also access the Microsoft Access and the SQL Server. Excel has online services also, means we can access OneDrive data or the SharePoint data. The third is web data, so it's a API. So Excel also access the APIs. If I am asking about the big data, so Excel can't access the big data such as Hadoop. Excel not provide any access to get the data from the ERP or SAP, Salesforce or SAP. Similarly, Excel don't provide the access of the direct query. Power BI data sources. So the first data source is local database. So inside this local database or the Power BI can access the Microsoft Access and SQL Server. So if you have a data in a MS Access or SQL Server, you can easily get it. The second data source is an online service. So Power BI provide you to get the data from the OneDrive or the SharePoint. The third data source is web data, means it's an API. So if your data is on an API, it's a called web API. So you can easily get it. The fourth data source is a big data. So if your data has in a Hadoop or in a Spark, so Power BI also provide an access to get the data from Hadoop or Spark. The ERP, so Power BI also have or provide you the permission to get the data from the ERPs like Salesforce and SAP. Similarly, Power BI have a direct query also, so you can get data from the direct query. So these are the Power BI data sources. If you are seeing here, this is the file data sources, means Power BI can access these type of files, means the data, suppose the data available in a Excel, so Power BI can easily get data from Excel. If your data in a TXT, XML, JSON or in a PDF or SharePoint folder, so Power BI easily get the data from that particular files. Similarly, if you have a data in a databases, so there are couple of databases like SQL Server, MS Access, Oracle, and IBM. So if you have any type of data, if you have a data in any type of database, so you can easily get it with the help of these data sources. The next is Power Platform. So if your data in a Power BI data sets or in a Power BI data flow, so you can easily get it with the help of this data source. If your data available in the Azure services like Azure Database or Azure Data Warehouse, so Power BI provides you an option to get the data from the Azure. The next is online services. So these are the online services like the APIs. If you have any Salesforce object, so you can directly get the data from the Salesforce object. If you want to get the data from Facebook, so Power BI provides you an option to get the data from Facebook also. And these are the other data sources. Means if the data is stored in a ODBC or in a Python or in a R, so you can use these other sources to get the data from that particular data sources. The limitation. So Power BI also have a limitations. The main purpose of Power BI is the cloud service. So if you have a report and you want to share that report to all the team members at the same time, so you need to use the Power BI service. So means the internet is required for that particular service. If you don't have an internet, so that type of service you are unable to use it. The next thing or the next limitation of the Power BI is subscriptions. So Power BI subscription is too much costly. So it sometimes the small organization can't afford to use that particular Power BI service. So if you have a large organization, then it could be very helpful, but for the small organization, it could be a costly thing. Power BI other limitations. Power BI session that contain the table and the table has 20 lakh records, more than 20 lakh records or rows, so you need to split that record or rows in a multiple tables. I hope you understand where we can use the Power BI and where we can use the Excel. So thank you for this session and we will meet again in a new session.